What's up, guys? So I know it's been a minute since we all talked. I really don't have any excuses. That's on me. I'm gonna try to do better. So, priority Ace of Spades. It's my new bike. I wanted a single-speed road bike, and looking at the options, you kind of see that there are some great options in that $500 price range that you can pretty much get everything you need. Steel frame, solid wheel set, good components, maybe even a carbon fork. But I kind of saw this and I was like, wow, this version comes, so this one's the $800 version. Comes with the carbon fork, carbon seat post, sealed bearings, and we'll go through all of that. But I just wanted to. So this caught my eye. It kind of hit a lot of the things I was looking for. But the one thing that really stood out with this bike is that it's a belt drive. It's a belt drive system instead of a chain driven system. So there's a lot of things. You know what? I'm not really sure. This is a great bike. It's like I have a lot of critiques of it. I have it early on, so like I have some reservations of critiquing this bike because in theory this is definitely my dream bike. Like I've looked at Gates Carbon Drive in the past, and I was like, man, I wish that was an add-on option to a bike. One day I want to own a Gates Carbon belt drive bike, and so years later I picked this up, and I have my reservations about it. Serviceability, kind of like tricky. I'm a little scared to touch this thing as much as I would like to. Like removing this rear wheel and repairing a flat is like seems a little daunting on the fly. I don't know, man. Like it's tough to. I've had a mixed bag with this bike. I think there's a lot of cool stuff on this bike, and it comes together very well in a pretty affordable package. But at the same time, the owner experience for me has been a little finicky. I had a couple quality control issues, and I've had to swap out a few parts even before modifying it. Like I don't even consider this bike modified yet, and I've already swapped out a few parts just because the stock parts were just not going to work for me. And so if you want to just know whether or not to buy this bike, I would say yes, definitely buy the bike. It's a good value for what it is, and it's going to give you pretty much, I think, 100% reliability going forward. Even only having it a couple, maybe 1 month now, I think that this bike is, man, this is a terrible review. Shit. Okay, I'm not good at this anymore, huh? Let's just look at the bike. Can we just go through it? I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, I love the bike. It's not perfect. That's it. In widescreen. So let's start with this hub first, because this is like the issue that I'm having. So it's bolt-on, which is okay. I mean, if I'm carrying a bag, carry a wrench. But the thing is that this belt doesn't just snap off the chainring. So what you have to do is move the wheel forward in the frame to get it off. So really, you have to undo these hex bolts and these bolt-on bolts, slide the wheel forward, get the belt off, kind of twist it out of the way, and then pull the. So it's a few more steps than a quick release or even a basic bolt-on. So that's like minor knock. Another thing is that there's no oil in this, which is a benefit, but if you get some dirt on the belt, you really feel it. You can tell that there's some resistance there, and it doesn't feel good. And since there's so little vibrations coming off of that thing, you can feel pretty much any imperfection. So that being said, let's jump off of that and let's go to the things I really do like. So this carbon forks are a miracle. I did not know that. It absorbs, it's like having a vibration dampener on your bike. It really smooths out every vibration, and you can feel the difference. So like, I can feel all the vibrations coming off of the rear wheel, but pretty much none off of the front wheel, which is funny. And the carbon seat post does the same thing. So it's like you have a double vibration dampening system going on here, which makes this bike feel really smooth. And it kind of feels like a mountain bike, just from feel. Obviously, the whole thing is not going to feel like a mountain. It's definitely a road bike, and you could definitely notice that. Even if you saw my Trek 830, that feels like a mountain bike compared to this, like by far. So let's see. So these brakes, man, I don't like the brakes. They're going to get swapped out. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like Dura Ace, these are a 6.5, maybe a 7. They're adequate for a sub $1,000 bike, but they look a little heavy. And then when you stop, like there's like a weird sound that happens, and it doesn't stop automatically. These brake pads, like they feel like they're just like, instead of rubber, they're made of plastic. That's how they feel. So maybe like a quick brake shoe swap would fix that issue. But you know, I'm just not feeling the bite force from these things, and I'm a little spoiled. I prefer like something name brand. My last bike had Ultegra, and so you can see that I'm pretty spoiled when it comes to brakes. So the calipers, they're not my favorite, but they're okay. But these handles, these brake levers are not good. You can see, look how much play is in there. And you can tighten that. There's a bolt underneath, or there's a bolt right here, but it's already tightened, and it's just it's not a complete reason to fall. Let me explain it. These are short pull brake levers, and if you've ever tried to get some mountain bike short pull brake levers, you'll realize there's basically no options. So I'm not surprised that they put a low quality brake lever on this, because a high quality one just probably doesn't exist from a reputable supplier. On my Trek 830, I've put some short pull handles on there, and they were like pretty nice, but they were also 15 years old. Because I couldn't find anything newer than that. So the brakes are okay, but the real star of the show for this bike is the frame. I don't know if you can see it, but my first day of ownership video, I said that there was no fleck in this paint. I was wrong. There's a ton of fleck in this paint. You just can't see it indoors. It's very tiny, but it's definitely there, and it's multicolored too. This frame is gorgeous. Like, they killed it with this frame. The welds are perfect. The gauge on this down tube is meaty, but like you could tell that this frame is light. And it really is super responsive. I wouldn't go with the steel for this bike, to be honest. Like, I think the aluminum is where it's at. And that's coming from a steel guy. So, no, the aluminum with carbon fork, I can say, is probably a little bit better than all steel. Yeah, I don't know why that's crazy. I just came to that realization. So I went with some Fuker pedals. So the OE pedals were embarrassing. They were just terrible. Like, so terrible. First day I ordered these. And if you see the reviews online, people love these cheap Chinese knockoff pedals, and I can see why. They are just nice. And so I'm loving those. This is a Bontrager Super Solo Ride saddle, and man, I love this saddle. You know, I haven't been riding as much, And so if you haven't been riding and you go for 10, 15, I'm actually 10 miles into this ride right now, and I have no fatigue. They don't make this saddle anymore, which is sad, but if you could find one on eBay, cop it. It's like for $30, you're not going to find a better saddle. For $60, you probably will, but maybe $50, you probably will, but 30, hell no. These thick, slick tires are good, I would say, for suburban, because you can go over a little bit of grass. But if you really want responsiveness and you want protection, some 23C or 25C gator skins. When I move back to the city, I will switch this back to like probably a 23C gator skin, because I like the nimbleness of the 23C. It really hits me. And then kickstand I replaced with this kickstand. It's just an Amazon kickstand, but it has this extension piece, so it doesn't add torque on this lower chainstay when you have it propped up. So I kind of like this style, and I recommend this style pretty much for every bike. Also, what I realized is the chainstays are really short on this bike. You feel really like I could tell because it's gates, the chainstays have to be further apart. So like on a regular bike, this chainstay would be a little bit closer towards the wheel, but since it's gates, it needs to have a little bit more distance for this rear hub. I'm sure this is not a 135 or whatever the standard is now. I'm sure it's wider than that. So that being said, I can feel that these are really short because I'm hitting my heel on this a lot on both the chainstays on both sides, and which is okay. I have a size 13, so it's gonna happen. But the chainstays are really short, and you can feel it. I mean, it's such a agile bike. It doesn't feel long at all, and that's a good thing because it is long. So if it is long but it doesn't feel it, and nobody wants a long, I mean, I don't prefer a long feeling bike, and unless you're going like super high speeds, like a downhill run, you probably don't want that. So that being said, I was skeptical about a 90 millimeter stem. I'm sorry, I have this phone holder on top. But you know, when you get the saddle up high, you're really on top of the bars with the 90 millimeter. I probably couldn't go smaller, but we'll see. I don't know. The whole cockpit's gonna get changed this winter. The brakes are gonna get changed. Handlebars are gonna get changed. So there's a lot of things on tap. This will be above $1,000 bike when all said and done, because that's kind of what I'm looking for in a dream bike here, and that's what I'm going for. So yeah, let's see. So I'll just talk over this angle of the bike here. So to wrap it up, tires and wheels are good. I might adjust the tires. The Gates belt drive system, it will take some getting used to, but I'm happy that I never have to worry about reliability, because it'll be super solid for the life of the bike, and as long as I own it, which will be forever. I'm never going to sell this bike, because unlike my other builds, like this bike is close to perfect out of the box, and I paid for that. I paid for a carbon fork, sealed bearings on the wheels. Also, one thing I noticed is this is a tough bike to do wheelies on, even with the short chainstays, because the gearing on that rear cog is pretty high, which meaning that it's set for a faster ratio or a faster speed, and I know that the cog on the Ace of clubs, which is the cheaper version of this bike, has a few extra spokes, and so I'm pretty confident with those extra spokes I could probably do a wheelie, but because This one is a smaller, it's made for a little bit higher of a speed, which I appreciate, because on downhills I do run on a little bit of gearing, so I'm glad I have whatever I do have. I wouldn't change it, but I would definitely buy a bigger cog on the back just to do some like more fun riding, especially if I'm going to go in a group. You know, like this is maybe not a casual ride bike. This is more of like a point A to point B, or just some serious exercise. Probably a point A to point B bike, just because no fuss, it can stay outside, it's aluminum, it won't rust. The carbon fiber seems pretty durable and high quality. Don't over tighten your seat post clamp, because you can chip the paint on the carbon seat post. I did that. I feel terrible about it, because there's no way I'm going to be able to afford to replace that thing. Yeah, I would say 8.5 out of 10. On not, because the thing is, when you grade this bike, you can't really grade it against something like a Super 6 Evo, because that's not what it is. It's meant for people in the single speed fixie community, and somebody in that community for a long time. I can tell you that if in college or in high school you're a fixie single speed guy, but you want something that you don't have to tinker with like every single day just to keep it functional, then this is the bike for you. This is something you just keep in your garage. It's super nice. You ride it when you need to ride it, and you don't have to, you don't have to do anything. It just is what it is. It's a great bike, and if you're gonna ride it hard like I plan to, then a few mods can put this into super bike territory. And like I said, I mean, I'm gonna switch up the handle. I don't want to give away too much, but I'm gonna go bullhorns, because I'm a bullhorn guy. And so once I go bullhorns, I'm gonna be in my most comfortable position. So once I'm in my most comfortable position, then the bike will take off, and I'm pretty confident of that it's going to be just it'll go from an 8.5 to a 10 out of 10, and a 10 out of 10 is not easy, guys. I'm pretty, as you can tell from this video, I'm pretty tough on the bike. So it's like yeah, it's a great bike. It's not perfect, and it's been kind of a little bit of a rough ownership. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about that. So there was a lock ring on top of the cog back here, right where my finger is. That came hand tightened, and it came off by itself, where the cog could have unscrewed by itself from the box after one ride. So I talked to Priority, and they were pretty cool about it. They said just take it to the bike shop, and they'll pay for it. And so I did that, and I haven't sent them a receipt yet, but if Priority sees this, the receipt's coming, and thank you for paying for that repair. Pretty dope of you guys. You didn't have to do that. Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else. A little bit of a wordy review. I hope you guys can hear me with this wind out here. Thank you for watching. Definitely subscribe. It's been a weird couple of years for me, guys, so the channel hasn't really grown like I intended it to, but that doesn't mean that we're not working hard, and I'm not trying to find solutions to get more content and get this channel going. So stay happy, stay healthy, man. Eat some fudge today, please. For God's sakes, eat some fudge.